do a quick round of introductions amongst ourselves whilst we allow Jabu Africa to be ready. You'll give me a signal, Jabu, when you are ready. So let's just do a quick round of introductions. We can start here, Lebza. Okay, Lebo and Steve, MECs and the acting premier, they are doing live broadcast in the various community radio stations. So this, they will be doing it live, this session. Yeah, other journalists? Kitumes, where are you? Stand up, Kitumes, and introduce yourself. Okay. Tavisho, when I'm not my former MEC, Arts and Culture. Emma, we introduce her. Was allowed directly pick MEC work. It's Jamaica, more radio, the whole year. Who else is here? Yes. Thank you. Who else is here? Jabu, introduce yourself.
My name is Jabu Africa from SABC.
Are you ready, Jabu? We can start. Thank you very much. Acting Premier and MECs, we can start with our session. I'm going to be handing over to you, Premier.
No, thank you very much, Re Setswambung. Let me take this opportunity to greet the members of the Executive Council, all the media houses that are here this morning, the administration of the Northwest headed by the DG and other HODs. The end of the sixth administration coincide with the celebration of 30 years of our democracy and freedom. Significant strides have been made since the country's breakthrough in areas such as water provision, electricity, housing, education, health, social security, and so on. As the provincial government, we are not oblivious to the challenges of unemployment and poverty afflicting our communities. And we have worked around the clock to turn the tide against these challenges. In September 2021, Premier Mape was elected as the Premier, and he introduced what we called at that time Accelerated Service Delivery Program to expedite the provision of services in our different municipalities and to ensure that we create jobs. The program was launched on the 16th of December 2021 in Tlhabologang Township, Colini, in the Ditsobotla local municipality. And when the Premier took ill in 2023, I was appointed to act on his behalf, and together with these members of the executive, we subsequently decided to give the accelerated service delivery some impetus. And in that, we then said, let's rename this program. It must gel well with the people of the Northwest. And we called it Tunzalerole Bekele Beke. And that is why every Friday, we then visited each and every municipality, and we started with the districts. So phase one of that program was to go to the 4 districts in the Northwest Province. And we completed that exercise. And phase two of the project, or of the program, was to visit the remaining 18 municipalities in the Northwest Province, which of course we did that exercise excellently. From February this year, we implemented phase 3, where we intensified our interventions through a collaborative effort between all spheres of government. You will recall that the government of the Republic of South Africa took a conscious decision that we need to blend together as all spheres of government. We must have one budget, we must focus properly, we must not work in silos. That is why, as we speak today, we have a program called the District Development Model. Now, the Northwest Provincial Government, through the executive, had decided to set aside a budget of about 100 million through a COCTA to intervene in municipalities where there are serious challenges of water provision, sanitation, and so on. In Bojanala district, for an example, we are now busy at an area called Mazista to attend to internal reticulation. In Khetling, in the whole area there, you will recall that there were serious challenges of water. And as a result, Ratepayers Association took us to court and said they can provide this service on their own and government must not interfere. And that is why we took that conscious decision that part of this money is to intervene in areas of Khetling to ensure that government does what is expected of it. Because the responsibility to provide our people with water, to ensure that there is proper sanitation, that responsibility lies with government, not some ratepayers association and so on. So we are intervening in that area. There are many other projects that are underway in different areas, such as in Pella, in the Moses Kotane, where we are drilling boreholes to augment water provision around those areas. Because the challenges of water in the Northwest Province are giving us sleepless nights. We are not sleeping because we have taken a conscious decision that water is life. Therefore, people can't live without water, so we must give water some priority. It must be number one on our agenda. Now, our sanitation and water provision projects are underway in areas such as Motla, in the Moretele area. When we launched a project called Operation Bulela Metsi, together with the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Minister Senzo Mcuno, because we were informed by the report from Stats SA, which said to us the majority of the people of the Northwest, they now have water. But there are two areas where you still have serious challenges of water provision. And one of those areas is Moretele. And that is why the minister went to Moretele to launch Operation Bulela Metsi. The other area which was also identified by Stats SA, it was Ratlo, where we also have serious challenges in that area. So through this program, we are now able to intervene in those areas. We are refurbishing Opitopi Pump Station in Ramotshere Muilwa from the allocation that was provided by the province. For now, you will realize that I'm not talking about interventions that are made from the national department. By the way, just from the side of the national department, we have no less than 27 water projects that are underway in the entire province. So this is to augment what we are already doing through Operation Bulela Metsi. There are similar projects in the city of Matlosana, particularly in the area of Tihane, where you will recall that the people in Tihane were on the streets saying that they've been without water for more than 6 months, and we are intervening there. We are putting up steel tanks to provide people with water. So we have resolved those issues, including leakages that were all over in that area. And in this instance, or at this stage, I would want also to thank other water service authorities in that area who came on board to assist us to ensure that we attend to leakages that were taking place around that area. We are also in Dr. Ruth Sehomotsi Mompati, also attending to challenges of water. We are drilling boreholes in some areas, installing boreholes such as in areas like Kolong Village, in Tsokonyani, in Yotaung, and so on. So we are making this thing a project of ensuring that we provide water to our people in the Northwest Province. There are many other areas that we can mention where we are making all this intervention through the allocation that we provided to the Department of COGTA, working together with the Department of Water and Sanitation. And we are of the view, as this provincial government, that very soon the challenges of water in the Northwest Province will be history. Tomorrow, we will be with the minister because we are intending to complete the Pilansberg water pipeline. So we'll be in with the minister at Mafenya. We'll also be handing over a reservoir in that area to also attend to challenges of water around the Bojanala region. And I must indicate that the Pilansberg pipeline, once we have completed around Rustenburg and so on, it will go up to Ramotshere Muilwa and so on to ensure that this thing of our people crying almost every day about water becomes history. Now, through this program as well, called Tunzale Role, what we are also doing is to ensure that we hand over houses to our people, particularly the destitutes, those who are living in backyards, those who are living in shacks, and so on. So we've been doing this exercise. But amongst others, you will recall that previously there was an outcry that some of the housing projects that we have in the Northwest Province are not complete, or contractors have decided to leave site and so on. So we are intervening in those areas because one of our objectives is to ensure that all the incomplete projects, and not only in housing, all the incomplete projects in the Northwest Province are being completed. But key amongst those is to ensure that as we provide people with proper housing and so on, we must also give them title deeds. And since we started this project, we have already distributed over 7,000 title deeds to our people, and we have given over 11,000 title deeds to different municipalities to distribute those title deeds on our behalf to our people. And this program, it is running with the necessary speed, and our people are quite excited that we have now restored their dignity. They now know that the houses where they are living, they belong to them, and they can do anything with those houses. I must also add that when we took over, there were challenges between ourselves and traditional authorities in the Northwest Province. There was some mistrust and so on. We have successfully managed to ensure that ourselves, together with the traditional leaders, we work together and we are working together. Wherever we are going, our traditional leaders are there. They are playing what is expected, the role which is expected of them. And one of the issues which was raised by traditional leaders, and they've been raising this issue for many years, is the issue of what is called the D account. Because this thing called the D account had created serious mistrust between government and traditional authorities in the Northwest Province. We have since taken a decision that the Department of COGTA and the Department of Finance, working together, they must go to each and every traditional house, each and every traditional authority, give traditional leaders the financial status of the D account, give them each and every document, and I'm happy that the MEC for Finance has been leading that process together with the chairperson of the House of Traditional and Quaysand Leaders, Khosi Maotwe. So they are almost done with this exercise, and our coaches are happy that the Northwest Provincial Government is open, is transparent about this account. That is why we are working together, and I'm quite excited that as we go into these elections, as we attend to issues of service delivery and so on, we are with our traditional leaders. We no longer have challenges that we had before. Now, one of the issues which was raised also in public platforms is the state of our roads in the Northwest Province. That some of our roads are not trafficable. In some instances, potholes are no longer potholes. They are now becoming dams and so on. And we said we also need to intervene in this area, and we must intervene decisively. And I'm happy to announce that the Department of Public Works and Roads have managed to reseal 91 kilometers of roads in the province in the 2023-2024 financial year. And the monetary value of those projects is over 400 million. And we have opened roads in each and every village in the Northwest Province, and we are about to open others. There is a road that was on the media for a very long time, particularly in Mahikeng, called the Nelson Mandela Road, which is joining Botswana and Mahikeng and so on. That road was very bad. Today we can say to the people of the Northwest and the people of South Africa that this Sunday at 2 o'clock, accompanied by the responsible MEC, we will be opening that road for traffic this Sunday. That road, as we speak today, is almost complete. By Sunday, it will be completed. The people of Mafikeng, business people around there, people from neighboring countries such as Botswana and so on will be happy and proud to know that starting this Sunday, that road will now be trafficable. In addition to the aforementioned interventions, the department, through the support of the provincial treasury, ring-fenced over 40 million to help address road infrastructure backlogs through patching of potholes in different municipalities. You will recall that earlier on, I had said we are putting the district development model into action and into practice. And we have said as a provincial government, we need to move away from a tendency that says internal roads in municipalities, it is not our competency, it's a competency of municipalities, so we have got nothing to do with that exercise. We have changed that approach. We have said we will intervene where we are supposed to intervene. Where a municipality does not have capacity, where a municipality does not have resources to attend to issues of potholes, the provincial department will be intervening. And that is why every Friday, when you see us in different municipalities, you will see the Provincial Department of Public Works being hard at work, patching potholes and doing what is expected of them. So we have set aside money to do that exercise. And we are also focusing specifically in this area called Mahikeng. People normally ask me, why do you like going to Mahikeng all the time? Just to remind you that Mahikeng is the capital city of the Northwest Province. So we want to change the face of Mahikeng. We want to, when people get into Mahikeng, you must feel that you are getting into a capital city of the Northwest Province. And that is why we are paying special attention to that city, because we want Mahikeng to be a city without potholes. And we are getting there slowly but surely. And very soon, indeed, Mahikeng will be a city without potholes. Obviously, there are other municipalities because we will not spend 100% of our time in Mahikeng only because Mahikeng happens to be the capital city. We need to focus in all the areas and so on. That is why we are in Ditsobotla, we are in Madibeng, in Rustenburg, in Matlosane, in all other areas to attend to these challenges that we are talking about. Since the national launch of the Vala Zonke program in August 2022, government has made great strides in dealing with potholes across the provincial and municipal roads. In April 2024 alone, our internal team patched a total of 901 potholes, whilst in the 2023-2024 financial year, the province patched a total of 34,329 potholes in the province. So we are getting there. And very soon, Northwest will be a different province. Northwest will be a province of choice, where everybody, when he lands in South Africa, his destination will be the Northwest province. Because as we speak now, many of our international tourists and so on, they have challenges with roads that are bad. So we are fixing these roads, and our tourism industry very soon will also start to boom. Now, in relation to provision of primary health care, we welcome the promulgation of the National Health Insurance. The President did find a pen. The President has now signed. It means our people, not only in the Northwest, in the entire country, will now have access to proper health care. All the people of the Northwest, and we are quite excited. We know that it is going to start in phases, as the President has announced, but all of us and the people of this country are quite excited and they are quite happy. We know that there are pockets of some other people who are not happy with the National Health Insurance, but the majority of the people of South Africa, particularly the poorest of the poor, are quite happy and quite excited. We have, since 2019, completed hospital refurbishment projects at Swais Reneke, Vetrand, Job Shimankani, Tabani Hospital, Klerksdorp Tsepong, Lihurutsi, the construction of Madikwe, Makaunyani, Moshana, Steve Chwete, Siking, the new Joberton clinics. There are just many. The list is very long. We can't give it to you, but because we don't have the whole day. But as we speak today, in almost each and every village in the Northwest, you will find a clinic. Top of the class. I was with the MEC of Health, and we went to open a number of clinics in other areas. If you get in there, you will never believe that this is a clinic. People are even saying, are you sure this is a clinic, it's not a hospital? When we went to Potchefstroom, I think it was Extension 7, in Extension 7, to launch a clinic 2 weeks ago, people in that area, they were saying to us, you know, previously these things were called hospitals. When now you are calling these things clinics and so on. So this is what we are doing. So our people are quite excited that we are reaching each and every person. We are touching each and every person, both in urban and in rural areas. The Northwest Department of Health commissioned 3 digital X-ray machines valued at more than 3 million, each in April 24 at Itsoseng Community Healthcare, General Delray, Moses Kotani Hospital, etc. The combined cost of the equipment was over 8 million. The machines are expected to improve operations at hospitals as they produce highly detailed images with better resolution and more clarity. So it means as this province, we are getting there, it means very soon, people from other provinces will be coming to this province to get better health services. We recently opened the Ventersdorp bulk pharmacy in the Dr. Kenneth Kaunda district. We did that in March this year. And the bulk pharmacy was built at a cost of 45 million and will serve the third largest district in the province and cover a population of just over 800,000. We have also opened the Boikuzo Clinic at Ventersdorp in the JB Max in April this year. Our plan is that we must have the bulk pharmacies in each and every district, in all the 4 districts. Previously, what was happening, if you want the medication, people from all these districts were compelled to go to Mahikeng, go and get medication and go to their different areas. And at times it will take days for clinics, for hospitals to get medication. But with this initiative, it means our people will be able to get medication on time without having to wait for a day or days for medication to be in clinics and to be in hospitals. So this is quite a good initiative. Now, this state-of-the-art clinic, which is in JB Max, was renovated at a tune of 5.6 million and provides services to more than 88,000 residents in that area and surrounding areas. Now, following the dinner, which we had last year with several investors in the Northwest Province, we can today confirm that we have registered significant progress towards our intervention to mitigate on energy supply shortfalls in the Northwest. Yesterday, the MEC for Economic Development, the CEO of the Northwest Development Cooperation, and the Chinese, they've now signed the PPA, which means we are ready to go in terms of making sure that one of the biggest gas plants in the Northwest, construction starts in earnest. And that gas plant, as I've said before, it is going to yield over 10,000 jobs for the people of the Northwest. We were supposed to do the sort turning today, but I had said to the MEC together with the team that I would want you to sign all paperwork, all administrative hiccups must be resolved before we start turning on the sort. So the last paper was signed yesterday, so we are ready to go. So within a week or so, we will be going there to do a sort turning in that project. This project will, of course, be extended to Moses Kotane as well, and very soon we'll be launching a similar project here in Moses Kotane. The Buffelspoort Solar Project, which is worth over 1 billion, is also expected to create at least a minimum of 50 permanent jobs and 200 temporary jobs. The MTN Network Resilience Project worth 230 million is complete, and another one is on the cards. And it will create various socio-economic opportunities for the people of this project. Recognizing the value that reading brings in society, the provincial government has completed 3 libraries in Matau, 8 Gig, and Rekaratlile, and provided them with books, library, educational toys, furniture, and so on. So we are quite excited that our people in the Northwest will be people who will start reading, because reading is very important. 2 cultural villages have been completed and will be handed over to traditional communities for implementation of arts and culture programs. These were done at Moshana and Dunukana villages in Ramotshere Muilwa municipality. The department has finalized the construction of Mante Sports Complex, and the project is being prepared for a final handover. This will increase access to sports and recreational programs and activities in the Greater Taung municipalities. I have convened a meeting with all the mayors with all the municipal managers, including the Executive Council. And we have said one of the things that we must do on our MIC fund, we must set aside not less than 10% of the MIC to ensure that we improve our sporting facilities in the Northwest Province. And I'm hoping that all municipalities are doing that exercise, because we can't afford not to have proper sporting facilities in the entire province, because we want our young people not to be on the streets, to be doing things that add value to their lives. Now, since the beginning of this financial year, we have handed over 8 newly built schools constructed at a cost of 596 million and created over 2,400 jobs. This is primarily aimed at ensuring that teaching and learning in our province is conducted in a conducive environment that has fully furnished facilities. Some of those schools include Sachurena Primary School in Huhudi. Some of you were there. You might have seen the schools that we are building are better than what was built before 1994. The schools that we are building, those schools, I always call them state of the art. They have each and everything that you can think of. So we went there and we handed over Sachurena Primary School in Huhudi. We did the same at Borolelo, near Swartregens. We did the same in Gaukanya, Pasha Maluka, village near Klepgat, Relebogile, Swardam, and so on. It's quite a lot of them. You might have seen that in some instances, I had to allow the MEC for education not to join us in our program of Tunza Lerole, because I had said to them, education is also our priority as this government. She must be able to go to these villages and ensure that we open these schools, we hand over these schools in order for our kids to get proper education. Because with education, they can go everywhere. So we want the Northwest population to be an educated population, and we are getting there. Agriculture is one of the key economic drivers of our province, and as a result, we have prioritized the empowerment of emerging farmers with various utilities to be competitive. This includes, amongst others, Merose Rakwale from Ardebies Fontaine, in the city of Matlosane, where government invested over 9 million in her poultry project. A modernized combined grain harvester was purchased for 40 farmers at Breds in Madibeng local municipality at a cost of 10 million. The groundbreaking KMF agro-processing plant, which is based in Lichtenberg, we assisted them with over 30 million, and it has created 54 jobs, whilst the Malau Boran farm was empowered with 25 pregnant Boran heifers. And I must just indicate that the agro-processing plant in Lichtenberg is one of the best, if not in the province, in the entire country. I was there with the MEC when we were launching that project, and the beneficiaries in that project are quite excited about what government is doing together with the private sector to ensure that we attend to challenges that we have. Because one of the decisions that we took was that this thing of always taking live cattle to other provinces and so on must come to an end. Things must be done in the province. We want to take out from this province a complete product. We want to sell meat to other provinces, to other countries, not livestock. Those cattle and so on must be slaughtered in the province, must be packaged in the province. And once we do so, we will be creating employment in this province of ours. The provincial government conducted periodic law enforcement operations in identified entry points to check compliance with road regulations. Oversight visits are also conducted on various police stations across the province to check functionality and availability of resources to deliver services to our people. Regular oversight and compliance with scholar transport is also done. We commend our men and women in blue who work hard to fight crime in the province. The fight against crime, we shall never compromise on it. Northwest must be a crime-free province. Where crime decides to raise its ugly head, we must as quickly as possible chop that head and ensure that this province must be a province where everybody feels safe to be in it. Now, all this MEC, we have said to them, as we address communities, as we interact with communities, we must call on our communities in the entire province to join the provincial government in the fight against crime and corruption. And I can tell you now that we are going to win. We will not be intimidated by anybody. We shall fight crime and we shall defeat crime. And this department, which is under the leadership of Rele Hari, will be supported with all the necessary resources to ensure that this work is done. We are in discussions with the Minister of Police and all other ministers within the law enforcement agencies in order for us to work together to ensure that we defeat crime once and for all in the Northwest Province. This will never be a province that is run by gangsters. This will never be a province where criminals can just do as they wish. This fight, we'll fight it and we shall win it. We shall put each and every resource in fighting crime because we want investors, particularly from outside the country, to come to the Northwest. We want to change the face of the Northwest. For them to be in the Northwest, Northwest must be a crime-free province. Ladies and gentlemen, I might have left others, but I just want to, in conclusion, just to mention 2 or 3 things on our fight against unemployment in the province. Earlier on, I spoke about the gas-to-power plant which we are building in Matlosana together with our Chinese counterparts. That project is going to yield over 10,000 jobs. 3 weeks ago, we were with the MEC for Public Works, and we were launching the new phase of the EPWP program. In that new phase, we will be taking in over 15,800 beneficiaries. This is part of our fight against unemployment. 3 weeks ago, we were in JB Max with the Minister of Employment and Labor. We were introducing, amongst others, contractors that are employed or appointed by the department. And in that project alone, we are going to train over 35,000 people from the Northwest who immediately after that training will be absorbed into the economy. We are proceeding, and I hope that the MEC for Public Works has done what we said that they must do together with the Northwest Housing Corp. We are going to start with our project of the Smart City in Mahikeng, Student Smart City in Mahikeng. And in that project alone, we are going to create over 3,600 jobs. We are doing so because we have realized as a Northwest Province that unemployment rate in the Northwest Province is stubbornly high, and we need to do something about it. Just last week, Friday, I was accompanied by the MEC for Economic Development and the MEC for Health. And we met with the Chief Executive of Impala Mines, and we were saying to the Chief Executive, we can't afford to allow mines to retrench people And we have placed on the table alternatives of what is it that they can do to ensure that they don't retrench workers in that area. Now at 2 o'clock, we'll be going to Bethany. We are meeting with Glencoe. One of the discussions that we are taking up with Glencoe is to ensure that they employ people from this province in whatever they are doing in that area. I'm quite excited that mining houses are now coming on board to assist the provincial government to ensure that we attend to issues of unemployment in the Northwest Province. And we have a belief that with all these mines that we have in the Northwest Province, we will be able to reduce this high unemployment rate in the Northwest Province. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Premier. This was just a synopsis of a lot of work that is happening in this province, ladies and gentlemen. As we said in the beginning, we felt it is important to come and provide this update so that communities out there in the province are aware of what is happening in the province. I will therefore afford an opportunity for a round of questions. Can I see any hands? We are happy that Tabisho Moss is covered. We don't see any hand. It's now or never, Tabish. Now or never. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not see any hand. Oh, Tabiso, yes.
Okay, good morning once again. The acting premier, when the 6th administration came into office in 2019, unemployment rate in the province was sitting at 26.4%. And the recent information from Statistics South Africa suggests that unemployment rate is now at 40.5%. which is an increase of over 14% in the past 5 years in the province. Are you able to give us practical steps that the provincial government has been taking to deal with the issue of unemployment? You spoke about projects that are coming that are going to create jobs, but would you say in the past 5 years, the provincial government has not done enough to create a conducive environment for employment in the province? Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay.
Thank you. My name is Obake Maje from Taun Daily News. The acting premier, you just mentioned that you will take 35,000 individuals or you will train them. So the question is, what kind of skill that they will be equipped with? And I'm not sure if you have already touched on the corruption cases that were opened by the Northwest Provincial Government a few years ago. So is there any update on that? Thank you.
Any last hand?
Thank you. I'm David Gill from Mebom Post, a local newspaper in Bojanala. My question to the Honorable Acting Premier. Last year on the 13th of September, during a dinner that was hosted by the Premier here in Sun City, the Premier indicated that the Northwest Provincial Government, together with the Northwest University, they will be in a partnership to build a school of mining engineering around this area. I just need to know if there's any progress in as far as the planning, if there any budget has been allocated, or any progress in that regard. Thank you.
what's the movie?
Okay. This question is directed to the Public Works and Roads MEC about a gravel road between Amalia and Myra. I think residents in Amalia were protesting, and they even prevented children from going to schools. I just want to know what is the department's intervention in that regard.
MEC Tlapi, we have a question here from Facebook, since this is live. Tsepang Ramosepele says he wants to know what is the status of the Bojanala SEZ. Yeah, those are the questions, my leaders.
Thank you very much, and Tate Brian. Motho o botsang ko Facebook, I forgot the name. Status sa the Bojanala SCZ now ke gore we are now at the stage that we are waiting the national department to give us the license. We have complied with everything, with the checklist that we were given by the department. We are now only waiting for the license from the Department of from national department. So I think in due course we are going to get that license, because the list that were given to us as a province, we made sure that we complied with all the lists. We are also done with the municipality of Moses Kotane and Bojanala respectively. So we are done. I think we can give a report on the next week, maybe the new MEC will be able to tell us about whether the MEC, the minister has issued the license. But as a province, we have complied with everything that they needed from us. Thank you very much.
No, thanks very much, and thanks for the question. No, I can confirm that the MEC went and met with the community of Amalia and Myra, listened to their complaints, and we made an undertaking that indeed will attend to the road, and I can confirm today that we have appointed a consultant as the first point. So after the planning and design, we'll then appoint a contractor who will construct the road for the community. And the feedback has been given to the community, and the community are very happy about that. Thanks.
MEC Lehare Zukile wants to know what is the status of Dick Munsiwa Airport.
Okay, thank you very much. And good morning. Well, I was waiting for that question. I prayed, so my prayers never arrive in heaven. Dick Munsiwa Airport, those who are around the capital city, those airports, even Pilanesberg, they are not in good conditions. In fact, they are not in operational. But as the department, we went out on advert to appoint suitable service providers, contractors, to either renovate in certain areas to build new buildings for the airport. We are at the 80% stage where we can appoint investors to come and assist us. In terms of government, we don't have money to either renovate, refurbish, or build those airports. But we have agreed with several investors. Now we are just following a proper process of appointing them. I think so far so good.
because we are not shy to indicate to the people of the Northwest that the unemployment rate in the Northwest is very high. And census 2022 also did indicate that the unemployment rate in the Northwest is very high. What the Stats SA also indicated, which I hope that you will also note, is that in the third quarter of 2023, Northwest Province is one of the 3 provinces where we have experienced employment increase. It was only ourselves, KwaZulu-Natal and Limpopo. But despite that, we still have a serious challenge. You were asking about practical steps, and at the end of my presentation, I did indicate what practical steps are we taking. I've spoken about the social labor activation program, which we had launched with the Minister of Employment and Labor, which is going to benefit over 35,000 beneficiaries. I've spoken about the Student Smart City in Mahikeng, which is going to employ 3,600 people. I've spoken about the gas to power plant, which is going to employ just over 10,000 people. I've spoken about the new phase of EPWP, which is going to take over 15,800 people in the Northwest. I've also spoken about our interaction with the private sector, particularly our mining houses in the Northwest Province. I indicated that just last week we were with the CE of Impala, and we were talking about creation of employment, not retrenchments. And we were saying that in the Northwest we can't afford retrenchments. I've spoken about my visit today at 2 o'clock in Bethany, where I will be meeting with Glencoe, including the communities around that area, where we'll be talking about employment as well. And I've said that we are making strides in talking to the private sector to partner with us in order to deal with the high unemployment rate in the Northwest Province. And I said we are getting there. Not just unemployment rate in the Northwest will be reduced because it is giving us sleepless nights. So those are some of the practical steps that we have taken to ensure that we reduce unemployment rate in the Northwest Province. You will recall that the President did indicate that in the next administration, our intention is to create over 2 million jobs in the country. In the Northwest, we have already started. But I went further to say that some of these initiatives is not only about creating employment, it's also about training these beneficiaries, because we are going to train them in different fields, agriculture, construction, and so on. I think it's about 11 areas where we'll be training them, because the intention is that they must not only be employees, some of them, they must be employers. From these projects, they must be able to go out, open their own companies, and employ more people in those companies. So we are getting there slowly, but surely. That also answers the question 2, which talks about what skills and so on, which I've already explained. Both these 2 programs that I spoke, the 3 programs that I spoke about, labor activation program, the EPWP, the gas to power, it is also going with training in different fields, because we also want to produce employers, not only employees. Now, I've always said to members of the executive and everybody that law enforcement agencies in the country must be given time and space to do their work. Once you have reported a matter to law enforcement agencies and you have opened the case, allow the law enforcement agencies to do the investigations. Once they've completed their investigations, they will then act on the basis of that. Because you see, you don't just go to a police station and make an allegation that X is corrupt and so on, and you think that when you leave that police station, X must just be arrested. This is not how the law enforcement agencies work. When you make an allegation, they will open that case, they will give you a case number, there will be an investigating officer. Investigating officer will go and investigate, and once it is discovered that indeed your allegation is true or there is a prima facie case and so on, they will then act. But if you just go there, make allegations, and they investigate, they find that you are just saying something that does not exist, they will not arrest the person on the basis of something where there is no proof and so on. So let's allow them to complete their investigations. If people have open cases, give them space and time to do their work. At an appropriate time, they will act. And these politicians will not interfere with that process. I will not go out of this meeting and go to an investigating officer and say, a case was opened, go and arrest. That I will not do. I will allow them to complete their work and do what is expected of them. Now, ourselves, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, the municipality of Rustenburg, we have established a team to look into the construction of the faculty on mining engineering in Rustenburg. Already now, Rustenburg municipality have given us land where we must build this institution. Already as we speak, the team from the office of the minister, from my office, together with the municipality, we have been to site, assessed the site and so on, and we are quite satisfied. So processes are in place. We are moving with that process. But I've also spoken to the minister because we must also talk to the mining houses. They also need to play a role in ensuring that this objective becomes a success. So we are getting there. We are on track with this project. But what you must know, which is important, we now have the land from the municipality that has been donated. Teams have been there, they've seen the land, they are happy with what they saw. Just to add on two things which were, I think, answered by the two MECs. MEC Tlapi is right. The SEZ, we are done with our work. Initially, I also did indicate to some of you that there were renovations which were done in these factories and so on, and there were challenges in the process. And we were able, together with the MEC, and we were able to engage DBSA for starters, DTI and so on, in order for them to proceed with the renovations, because previously those projects had to stall, amongst others, because of vandalism that took place there and so on. We have now resolved those things. So all the systems are now in place. One of the things which was raised by DBSA in particular was the issue of security around those areas. And we have also attended to those issues. And that is why the MEC is indicating that what we are now waiting for is now the license, and everything will be running. So we are done. So this thing, we will no longer be talking about it. We've been talking about it for more than 10 years. And that's why I said to the MEC, I said to NWDC, I said to DBSA, DTI, and so on, that we are now tired of talking. Talking must now come to an end. This thing must start to operate, and it must start to operate immediately. Where there are challenges, let's attend to those challenges immediately, and we have attended to those challenges. So the license will be coming. Emisile Hari is correct. Dick Munsiwa, including Pilansbeck. In our dinner that we had here, some of the international investors, they did indicate to us that they are having serious challenges of flying from their countries to OR Tambo International Airport, then drive to the northwest. And they were appealing to us that we are here. We want to work with you. If you need assistance, we are prepared to invest in these airports, for these airports to look like all other airports, not only in the country, but internationally. And that is why we said to the MEC, you need to start immediately with processes of ensuring that you appoint people to work with the private sector to fix these airports in order for these airports to be functional. And I'm happy that those processes are almost concluded now, and we are getting there. These two airports are going to work. These two airports must work. And I will not be an old man before these airports start working. They need to work as quickly as possible. We are being called almost every day by our friends in other countries who are saying, how far are you? How far are you? And so on. So we are taking this matter seriously, and so we'll get there, we'll fix these airports, and we are getting there. And I'm quite excited with progress made so far by the department. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I want to inform our followers in the social media platforms that I will be taking the last round of questions that they have already posted here. Thereafter, we are going to be closing this session. The one question from Tsepang is that, can the Premier expand on what informs the establishment of the Student Smart City? The other one from Tlin Jan says, I have questions for the MEC of Education about a school in Dr. KK informal settlement called Jacaranda Extension 10 in Matlosana. Is the budget already allocated for the school in that area? And then the other one from Tsepang again, is our leadership satisfied with the performance of the NWDC, which has been on the negative financially for years, which also impacted on its legislative mandate? And then from Pule, what skills are you looking for as government on the Matlosana power station? I think it's referring to the gas plant. And then the other one from Teboho says, to the acting premier, what is the government's response to councillors who are forcing EPWP workers to campaign on behalf of the ANC? But he says he saw this in Mafike Mail newspaper, but it's not indicating in which area is this happening. And then Tabiso for MEC Molapisi says, how far is the proclamation process of taking over Bayes Naude Road in Lichtenburg from the Zobotla local municipality to be under your department for maintenance? That represents our last round of questions, my leaders. Not sure who wants to start. MEC for Education, are you ready for this one?
No, thank you very much, spokesperson. I'm going to be brief as much as possible. Mine is just to indicate that as the Department of Education, we do have a table called Table B5, where all the schools are being categorized based on priority. I believe that particular school in Matlosana, Dr. KK Jacaranda, is part of the Table B5. It's just a matter of time where, remember, we have to go for our budget speech. The new MECs have to go for their budget speeches. where they will be indicating which schools are they going to build or prioritize for this financial year. But for the fact that the Facebooker there indicated that there's a need there was a process regarding building of that particular school, one must confirm that they must just wait for the budget speech. I cannot take a decision on behalf of the next MEC. So let's wait for the budget speech. The department will look at table B5 and definitely will prioritize based on the needs of schools. But I must also take this opportunity, utilize this particular opportunity to say that I believe that particular Jacaranda school, it should have been built long time ago. But one must indicate that in that particular area, as the Department of Education, we are encountering challenges where we are having construction mafias. That is why even today we are unable to complete your Tikhani Secondary School and your Sarafina Secondary School. But we are looking at the matter. We are going to make sure that each area where there is a need for school, we are going to build 4 schools for our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The NWDC one.
Thank you very much, Dade Setswambung. Let me just indicate that indeed NWDC was previously in ICU. But as government, what we have done now is that we have appointed a newly CEO, which I think he has a vast experience, and he was actually before the HOD for the Department of Economic Development, and also formed part of this entity before. So we have appointed a new CEO, and we intend to correct the situation. And we also gave him an instruction to make sure that he improve the NWDC entity. But we have also we are also going to appoint a new skilled board members, because what we as NWDC, we saw that the board members that were there, I think they had a problem of understanding the running of the board. So we are going to appoint a new skilled board members for the NWDC, and I think together with the CEO, this team will assist the NWDC to perform better. Thank you very much.
I think the last one is for you, Chair.
Okay, now I'm not sure how old is the person who was raising a question about the rationale behind building the student smart city. Possibilities are that he is as old as me. He might be a salt and pepper like me. Now, in Mahikeng, you have the Northwest University. In Mahikeng, you have Taletso. In Mahikeng, you have other tertiary institutions that are smaller in Mahikeng. In Mahikeng, as we speak, the population of these students is quite high, and there is no accommodation. Some of them, they stay in villages around Mahikeng. If you go to where they are staying, in some instances, conditions in those areas are quite bad, and so on. So it is incumbent upon us as government to ensure that these students, they stay in conditions that can make it possible for them to focus on their studies and not be encountering serious problems and so on. Because out of the students, we want ministers, we want premiers, we want presidents, we want doctors, we want engineers, we want physicists, we want nuclear engineers and so on. And for us to get everything that we want, or the skill that we want, these students must be able to live in an environment where it will be possible for them to acquire those skills and to study properly. Now, that student smart city the rationale behind it is to ensure that that student population in Mahikeng, they have a place where they can stay, where it will be conducive for them to study. So it will house not less than 10,000 students in that area. And we are hoping that come next year or towards the end of this year, at least about 2,000 beds will be ready. And we are calling it a student smart city. You will realize that we are not calling it a student accommodation. We are calling it a student smart city. It's a student smart city because it will have all the amenities that you can think about. Your sporting facilities and all other facilities, your laundry facilities, your Olympic-size swimming pools and everything. So they will have everything within that smart city, which will make work very easy for them and so on. So that is the rationale. And I hope that a person who was raising this question understand what is meant to be able to study in a conducive environment. And for me, by the way, to study in a shack is not a conducive environment. Or to study in a mud house, which almost each and every spring there are serious challenges, is not a conducive environment. Now, this government must be a caring government, and we are a caring government. That is why we have started these important initiatives. The Matlosana power station, you will have different skills there. You will also have general workers. Obviously, you will have engineers and so on. It will quite be a number of skills that will be required. And when the time is right, we'll then be able to communicate with the people out there and say, here are the opportunities, and these opportunities are in these areas. So it will be different skills, but general workers, obviously, you will also need them in that area. Now, I'm not sure when somebody says councillors are forcing EPWP to work for the ANC. I'm not sure about that question, but obviously, you know, we are going to elections in the next 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll be going into elections. And there is no political party that includes the ANC that can force somebody to work for it. Because once you force somebody to work for you, that somebody will not do the work. That somebody will compromise your elections campaign. So it is not possible. We can't have people who are doing work on behalf of the ANC under duress. So it's not possible. Ours, in each and every VD, by the way, in this province, there are volunteers of the ANC. We call them volunteers because they are volunteering their services to their party called the African National Congress. So we can't force them. So we'll never do that. And we'll never compromise a possibility of the ANC winning these elections with a very huge majority, So by forcing people to work for the ANC, it will never happen. So if there is something like this and so on, we'll check, because I don't think that there is any councillor of the ANC who can make a person to come and work for the ANC under duress. That councillor will be committing a serious offense. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ms. Malapesi is the last one.
No, thanks. I think the acting premiers responded on the issue of the EPWP recruitment and the allegation against the councillor. I think that matter is sufficiently addressed. With regard to the transfer of the road of, I think it's Beyersnodie in Lichtenburg, I must indicate that there are a number of roads that we have identified to be transferred, both to the provincial and national government. National, in this case, we are referring to Central, and province, will be taking those roads to the provincial government. Although we want to make this as a last resort intervention, but because of the capacity in our municipalities, at some point we are forced to intervene. With specific to this road, the processes are unfolding. I think at the right time, and not only this one, we'll then be announcing all the roads that have been transferred, both from provincial and to national, so that we then communicate with our community that they know that this road fall under the provincial government or the national government, because we are also doing this to ensure that our roads are trafficable and they are maintained. And like the Premier said earlier on, in the spirit of the DDM model, also with the provision of the Constitution in terms of Section 154, we are bound to intervene and assist our municipalities. Thanks.
Thank you very much, all of our MECs and the acting premier, the director general. Ladies and gentlemen, I also wish to take the opportunity to thank you very much, including those who have been following this session on the social media platforms. Your participation is appreciated tremendously. Members of the media who are here, you have heard in his input, the acting premier has indicated that on Sunday, will be officially opening Nelson Mandela Road Tabisho. We expect you, Tabisho, to come and cover it as much as you have been covering the slow pace. Now that we are finally opening it, we expect you to also be balanced and come and make that positive development known to the entire country. And we will also be opening the Muntiwa Start Bridge on the same day, on Sunday. So we invite you, ladies and gentlemen, to that important development. The acting premier has also indicated that today there is an engagement in Bethany, quite an important one. We'll be engaging with the community of Bethany, as well as Glencoe. Feel free, you are actually invited to that as well, so that you get it for yourselves, that first-hand information. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to request our EXCO members to not please leave. We are just going to shift these tables and request for a group picture. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.